Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me for today's World session. We're going to hop right into it because the session is already bringing itself. But I'm going to do a little bit of house cleaning or housekeeping first. So that's my website in the chat. It's www.mmarsac.com. So if you want to go ahead and re-listen to the session, or if you want to share the session with someone, you can go ahead and send them to my website. It's available for everyone. This is free to join, to listen over again. If you would like someone to join, just go ahead and share this link freely. And if you would like to contact me personally, there's my email. It's monica@sproutingtreewellness.ca. So hopping right into the session, and my whole body, all it feels like my cells are vibrating deeply, especially from the small intestines. It's bringing me right into that enteric brain. And the enteric brain, so the small intestines, is used for discerning. But if that enteric brain, if that small intestines has 5 senses on it, the 5 senses filters. So how do you experience life? Well, you experience it through your senses. So the sense of taste, smell, hearing, sight, touch. But what if those senses are perceiving through their lenses, your personal lenses? So this would assume that if someone, let's say, for example, cuts you off in traffic, you would know you have lenses on them or filters on them or a stickiness to them. That person cut me off on purpose. They were out to cut me off. They want me to be last. Now I'm going to be late. And then this whole story comes up. But it's the perception of assuming someone's intent. It's the assumption of assuming intent. Now, how does this relate to yourself in your own life? So now think of your family members, families coming up. So parents, grandparents, siblings. Oh, this is very heavy. The assumption of knowing someone's intent. And it's the intent to either make you happy or to hurt you. Oof, I'm shaking. So we're in the small intestines. We need to bring it down nice and deep, down to the cellular level. And we're going to do a 5 senses dumping and anchor it to the heart to release those false perceptions, all of those filters that you have on yourself, that you view yourself with, that you view your life with. And now money is coming in here. So how you view your possessions, your lack of possessions, money, lack of money. If you have a business, so business or lack of business, all of these things coming in. House, even down to the fundamentals of your life, even into the cellular structure of, my cells do this, they don't do this. I have health, I have lack of health. And all of this thinking through the consciousness of these filters, through the misthinking of these filters. I don't know if that makes sense, but it's a lot of thinking, a lot of thoughts. So we're in the small intestines. We need to support it. It's really struggling. So we're going to do a hydration to the small intestines, starting from where it begins up high in the duodenum, in where it connects into the stomach. Now the stomach is coming in as a consciousness, because how do you take in life? And its experiences are first mulched into smaller digestible pieces through the stomach. And then it gets sent down to the small intestines, and the small intestines discerns. So the small intestines discerns on the physical level, so vitamins, which vitamins you need to extract from your food, which minerals you need to extract from your food, what needs to go down into the waste, so down into the large intestines to be released. So letting go physically and also metaphorically, that letting go. The stomach is overburdened. It's like, oh, I gotta, all of these, ideas and thoughts of knowing what that life experience with that person's intent, or the assumption of knowing another person's intent. Holy smokes. Oof. So we're going to keep that stomach as an ICU and work deeply within the small intestines to bring that enteric brain back into alignment with the rest of the three brains. Bring that back into the alignment of tuning inward, not assuming about yourself and about others. So to rid that assumption, to drain that, it creates a literal toxicity, a film over your small intestines, so that it doesn't function properly. So seeing the hydration run through from that opening from the stomach, past the duodenum, down deep into the cellular level. Now, the small intestines is the place where you absorb water. And there's this film over it. So you drink water, it goes into the small intestines, and unlike food, it doesn't get wasted out. Well, it goes through the bladder, whatever, it gets hydrated, and then the excess goes down to the bladder and gets excreted. But even it feels like everyone's so dehydrated. It's almost like we're starving. Those minerals are not being absorbed. That hydration is not being absorbed. The water is not being properly transmuted into H3O. Now, H3O is needed for muscle regeneration, neural connections, healthy brain function, healthy systems functioning. And so there's this slimy film on the inside of that small intestines. And that slimy film is that consciousness of, I know somebody's intention. I know that I've been traumatized based on my perception. Now, that's not to say that there isn't real trauma out there. That's not disrespecting or disregarding the hardships or the experiences that you had. But this is coming from that sticky place of, I know I am right. I know that person's intention. I know is all that it's saying. We've got to break this down. So we're going to first start by a deep emotional release of pathological grief. Where that grief is a healthy emotion. It's the emotion of the lungs. It's, if theirs is already starting to move, but that was really stiff. It's not moving smoothly. There's a real stickiness to it. So we're going to bring in biogenics, and we're going to do an emotional release of grief from the inside lining, but pathological grief, where it turns into that whininess, that really victimness, that victimy space, that justifying, that space of justification. Oh, I've been traumatized in my life, so I can stay in my victimhood. Oof. So I'm just watching that. We're releasing that. Take a nice deep breath. And we're going to bring it right down to the colon, right down to be released. And there needs to be a repair on the colon, because the colon is also, when it's moving the bowels, it's also not bringing back. So the poop goes out, but the colon also reabsorbs moisture. So there's also a lack of hydration, so that the mucous membranes within the colon are not, they're crispy. It all feels really bunged up. So we're going to do a hydration actually to feces. So to plump them up a little bit, they feel really hard and stiff. It feels like there's a big constipation. So constipation is the inability to let go. So diarrhea is when you don't want to deal with it. The bottom falls out and you just don't want to deal with anything. Constipation is like grudge holding and not wanting to deal with anything. So we're doing a hydration to the bowels and to the fecal matter within the bowels, so that it can start to release. Now there's a relief happening. Now it's starting to relax. And still dumping the consciousness of I know from there. All right, take a nice deep breath. Nope, doesn't want to tap out. Where are we going? Ah. Being impacted, there has a highlight of one of the houses. I gotta see that for a second. The fifth house. So we've got a fifth house impacting and kind of highlighting kind of like uh the theme. The number 5 is about choices. And then the sixth house moves into healing, putting yourself first. So there's a fifth house element over the colon, the large intestines, and within the fecal matter. There, that feels nice to let go. All right, take a nice deep breath, and I'm going to go ahead and tap this in front of you. There's a nice release. Oh. I'm starting to feel really, really agitated within the diaphragm. Feels like it's squeezing in. I can feel defensiveness coming to me or coming at me, or everyone's defensiveness. Yeah, but Monica, you have no idea what life I lived and what hardship I endured. And how can you say that I don't know? And so my mouth is completely dry. Just seeing where this is leading me. It's taking me into stillness. It's taking me into consciousness of stillness. All of this busyness and then we become identified with that busyness. But when we come down into the core, there's a stillness, there's a quietness, there's a peacefulness. And so I'm so strange that today's Remembrance Day and that today's session is on Remembrance Day. And now I just feel like sitting quiet. So take a nice deep breath and we'll sit in silence for a minute. Beautiful. Now my lungs are opening and relaxing. Right deep down into the fascial layers. I'm seeing that consciousness of calm, that consciousness of stillness, going deep within the fascial layers, right through the structures within the lungs, through the alveoli, through the bronchial tubes, to the mucous membranes within the lungs. There's quiet. It doesn't need to be agitated. There's no need for that agitation. That's linking up into the fascial system of the diaphragm. Now, the diaphragm really feels sticky. I'm feeling it clinging to my back, but you can see for yourself if you relate, if it's, I really feel it in the back, like that burden being carried on the back. I feel like just tipping over. So we're going to go ahead and do a Wei Qi repair to the diaphragm. We're going to do a protection against emotional. So this is how, oh my, I just need to clear this up. It's coming at me with really quick information. So I just want to be clear on how I'm saying this. So we're going to go ahead and repair the Wei Qi within the diaphragm, the protective synthesis on emotions. But it feels like this is an attack on your own Wei Qi based on how you use your emotions to attack yourself. So instead of emotions just doing their job, they're natural, they move through the body. Anger goes through the liver and gallbladder, it organizes, it plans, that anger is a creative force. It moves the blood, it moves the lymphatic system. We need anger, but all the thoughts about anger, oh, I should not be an angry person. Angry people are dangerous. Angry people are aggressive. Angry people can't be trusted is coming up. But yet it's a natural emotion within the body. Same thing as fear. It's a natural emotion that is experienced in the body. Keeps you alive. Don't jump off the bridge. Fear comes up. Oh, I shouldn't touch that hot stove. Grief. When you have a loss, there's a natural grieving process. Now, if grief is tamped down, then it makes the lungs heavy and with burden. Or those people who are grieving for 25 years, they haven't left the grieving process. They haven't effectively grieved. Grief doesn't need to take years and 20 years. That's an overreaction. Sadness and joy are a natural space of the heart. And then worry is of the stomach. It helps digest, helps to think. Now, the Wei Qi is being attacked by these emotions, these pathological emotions that you use, those unexpressed emotions. Not expressed, because you don't need to express your emotions. Unfelt, unsynthesized emotions are eating away at the Wei Qi within the diaphragm. Now, the diaphragm is such an important part of the breathing process. It brings in breath down to the rest of your organs. It massages the liver and the gallbladder and the spleen. Make sure that all of up and down, like a nice balloon, massages all of your inside organs. So it's sticky. So we're going to go ahead and do the Wei Qi around the diaphragm. Now we're down into, it's bringing me down lower into the fascial system, into the actual synapses of how the fascia communicates within the diaphragm in correlation to with the lungs. They don't feel like they're communicating. They're both, it feels like it's both holding. So lungs holding its breath. I don't want to feel. I don't want to feel. And diaphragm contracting in. I don't want to feel. I don't want to breathe. I don't want to breathe. So if I breathe, then I will feel everything. Even myself. And then there's this deep avoidance of self coming in. Breathe and bring it back. Yes, that trauma is coming up, but I've been traumatized. I've experienced hardships in my life. Yes, of course. So allowing a natural space within the fascial system to release that trauma. You don't need to hold it. You don't need to relive it day in and day out, but you don't need to victimize yourself with it either. Holding on to it either is not doing you any good. So in that connectome, within that fascial system, connecting with the lungs, bringing in a healthy communication. So we're doing a deep repair on the communication within the fascial system from the diaphragm to the lungs. Oh, my whole body finally just relaxed. Oh my God, it feels so beautiful. I don't know if you feel that, but I can feel like air bubbles, the oxygen finally moving through the whole system. I feel like moving my hands. I've just started moving a lot. Finally, now we're going into, that feels so nice. We're going into a lymphatic drainage. All of those dirty self-talk, bringing in that healthy blood. I feel like I'm going to cry now. All of those backlogs of emotions and feelings that haven't been synthesized and felt because it's too important to stay in victimizing myself to my trauma. When I am a victim and I victim myself to my trauma, then I am important. Well, that's a new one. Whew, and how those thoughts actually block. It's actually an actual block to experiencing the abundance that you have fully in your life. Oof. Oof. So I'm just watching it do its work within the lymphatic system. We're doing, bringing in, oh my gosh, beautiful, repairing those lymphatic capillaries, laying down new lymph bedding, oh, releasing all of that toxicity. Well, not all of it, no, slowly, gently, peacefully, as your body, as your body can handle it. And bringing in a beautiful hydration to help release and move those dirty thoughts about yourself, that dirty thinking away, helping the spleen. So we're linking the lymphatic system to the spleen. The spleen is the basically knows what to do with the garbage. You can just take it right out. The garbage truck is coming. There we go. Nice visual. See all the garbage being plopped into the garbage truck, and out it goes. It doesn't even want to move through the body. It's like, nope, I'm ready to go. So we're going to link this into the integumentary system. So you may be stinky for a few days, right down into the colon and into the rectum. So out it goes. So you may have some more pooping going on. Into the mouth. So you may experience more saliva as this toxicity is going out. And the armpits is really, you may be stinky for the next few days. And bringing in a healthy circulation of that healthy blood, that oxygenated blood to the lymphatic system, to, from, and within the lymphatic system, and also into that spleen. And then repairing the communication, doing a Seedry on the line of communication within the lymphatic system and to the spleen, so that they're effectively communicating, so that the toxicity isn't being built up, that when it comes up, it can be taken out. It's up and out, this beautiful up and out. Oh, now my stomach, I'm gonna go ahead and tap that in, take a nice deep breath. There it goes. Now, as my focus is being brought back down into that small intestines where we started. Going to do a body chemistry to the small intestines of toxins and intolerances. So all food intolerances to emotional toxicity. So even your own intolerance to negative self-talk, and even talking badly about others. So any adharmic living is coming up. Going to do a body chemistry to that. And also to, if anyone is taking medications, even some vitamins is coming up. So we're just going to go ahead, I'm going to go ahead and just do a general body chemistry to toxins and intolerances. Even heavy metals is coming up, chlorine in water, fluoride. And also sugar. It's creating kind of like a mold around the stomach and that kind of slimy film. So you're going to go ahead and do anything else? Nope. I'm just watching the little workers get to work and break that down. And we want to support it. So we're going to link the small intestines to the whole digestive system. So the digestive system starts at about an inch away from the mouth. So that it's already when you're about to eat something or when you're about to say something, the discernment is already happening around the mouth. not to speak with a poisoned tongue towards yourself or to others. Oof, there was a big gurgle on that. Oof. Ah, there's a nice deep breath and making sure that the whole, I'm just looking through the mouth, the teeth, the gums. I'm looking at the esophagus now. Sorry, I've gone quiet. The stomach, the liver, gallbladder, linking that small intestines up with all of that, doing that through a body vibe axis, linking it all up together so it's in good, healthy communication. So that discernment before you put something in your mouth, if you go, oh no, I can't eat that, even though you've usually eaten it, it may be your gut telling you, no, I shouldn't be putting that in my mouth. No, that's not good for me. Oh, I shouldn't, those words are not healthy for me to speak to myself or to others. No, that's not to say that this is going to be 100% foolproof. We're human. There's humanness. And how do you even know how to make a choice? Well, it just comes from the gut. So to release all ideas that you will always make a good choice. And who's to say that it's a good choice or a bad choice? The choice is the choice, and that's it. So releasing that judgment on choices. Ooh, that's a big one. Releasing judgment on the choices you make. And then punishing yourself for the choice that you've made, as if it could have been different. Oh, that one made me dizzy. Take a nice deep breath on that, breathe, dumping that consciousness, dumping those ideas. I thought it was going to be end of session, but you're bringing me right into the midbrain. Right into those pawns, and they look like little spaghettis. And there's a pathological consciousness there of separation, so misperceptions of self. So all of the misperceptions you have about yourself. So all of the identities that you think you are. That means you identify with something that you do. You identify with a behavior and you think that you are that, and then you take it personally. So we're going to anchor that to individuation. We're going to anchor that to the heart. That means you're ready to release it. So beautiful. And the biggest one is I am perfect. I am imperfect. Take a nice deep breath. We need to anchor that to planet Earth. It feels really strong, like I want to be pulled up into the fences. So going to go ahead and do linking that as a satellite to planet Earth. So Mother Earth or planet Earth can ground this energy out, and also correcting the proprioceptors on the bottoms of the feet so that you're able to absorb the Earth's natural minerals and vibrations and vitamins. Now, for those of you in the South, amazing that you can get out barefoot. So if you could do that, go ahead. That's going to help release the toxicity. For us in the North, we're coming into winter, so that may be a little bit more challenging. But if you do have hardwood floors in your house, you can go ahead and walk barefoot on your hardwood floors for a little bit. Or if you're brave enough, get outside into the grass, even just for a few minutes before the ground gets too cold and snow covered. All right, tapping this in, take a nice deep breath. Tapping this in. Thank you for joining me. That is the end of session. If you'd like to share, then please go ahead and email me, and I will see you all next week.